Look, this next topic we're moving on to bothers me so much because if it's an emergency, you should be able to trust the 911 operator, but that just hasn't been the case for many people in the Houston area.
In an emergency situation, time is critical, and often the first person to jump into action is the 911 dispatcher. So when one Houston dispatcher chose to hang up on callers because she did not want to talk to anyone, she found herself facing criminal charges. According to documents filed, this operator was involved with thousands of calls lasting less than 20 seconds between October 2015 and 2016. In one instance, a caller reporting an armed robbery in a convenience store was hung up on twice before connecting with a different operator. By the time officers arrived on scene, the store manager had been shot and killed. The dispatcher faces 2 misdemeanor charges of interference with emergency telephone calls.
The reason I'm so troubled by this is I do think we all think of 911 as our last resort. You're desperate.
People's lives are at stake. That's why time is of the essence and taking the calls seriously and handling them properly.
This was clearly someone who did not take her job seriously, was not meant to be on the front lines. Because what I do have to do is give a shout out to 911 operators out there. I've spent time as part of my training in emergency medicine, not only spending time out with EMS, but at the 911 facility. And what's quite amazing, if you ever walk into one of these facilities and you see how the operators work and how they go about their jobs, it's really important because when you make that 911 call, usually something scary is occurring. You're filled with anxiety. So not only does the 911 operator allow resources to be deployed, they are your first point of contact. And a good 911 operator can help you deal with the situation and until help arrives. I wouldn't be okay with it, but even if she had at least said, okay, what's your address? Okay, cool, you know, and she wasn't a good 911 operator in terms of human interaction skills, it would at least be forgivable. By being responsible, and I'm gonna say it, for this person who died in the convenience store, that death could have been prevented. That's why 911 works.
The plane wasn't doing her job at all. I mean, you're saying the job could have been done well, and I think most people who take these 911 calls are excellent. This is the first story I've heard of somebody really having problems. I think most of them are professionals.
Usually we're making fun of
it very seriously.
Usually we're making fun of people making 911 calls, going through fast food, and you know, my burger isn't well done. So there is abuse of the 911 system sometimes on the caller side, but this is the first I've heard of on the operator side. So hopefully this is few and far between.
Don't you think there had to be some other clues? Like, I don't think that she was just this well-rounded, nice person that was normal in all other aspects of her life and at the workplace, and then she would do this. There had to be clues.
She just can't focus on her work or other things going on in her life.
Yeah.
I don't know how the call logs work, and I'd have to look into this, but you would think that if you just hang up really quickly on one person, there's still gonna be another call coming. So if you were still on the line trying to help someone, because sometimes these calls can last for minutes on end, you know, that you're avoiding the next call. So I don't know that it was purely driven from I don't want to do any work. And that's where things get really interesting here, is she may not have...
She may have been overworked. Maybe she didn't have enough help.
Well, I don't know if it's that.
Maybe
I'm not going to give her that much.
If she's the only one taking the call...
You're a very kind man, Dr.
You are.